So for more on what went on inside and their effort to seek justice for Officer Sicknick, Gladys Sicknick and Sandra Garza join me now. Gladys, Sandra, thank you so much for joining me on the show tonight. And I'm so sorry for your loss and for the fact that you had to campaign like this and knock on so many congressional doors. Gladys, let me start with you. Can you tell us what happened on Friday during your meeting with House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy? Can you describe the mood, the emotion in the room? Did anything Kevin McCarthy say make you feel better about this whole horrific situation?
No, not really. He just kind of spun his words, and but we did get through to him how we felt. It was very difficult.
I can imagine. Were you able to speak to him directly and put your concerns? Did he acknowledge your pain, your requests?
I'm hoping he did, because I did. I did say how I felt, that I was very disappointed, especially with the Medal of Honor. I mean, how dare they not give all these police officers, what they're due, because they're really yes. hurting. And I did meet with one of Brian's friends afterwards, and that officer was really upset. So I'm really upset for the officers who are not getting what they deserve.
Yes, I can only imagine. Sandra, 140 Capitol Police officers were injured during the insurrection. In the following days, along with your partner Brian, 2 other officers, Howard Liebengood and Jeffrey Smith, died by suicide. Do you believe all 3 of those officers would be alive today had it not been for that attack? And do you believe Donald Trump, a man whom I believe you and Brian used to support, was responsible for inciting that horrific attack?
So absolutely, yes. I feel that Donald Trump is 100% responsible for inciting that attack, as well as all of the people that, were enabling him, following him, too terrified to stand up against him. I mean, they all set this in motion. And so, yes, I do harbor a lot of anger, a lot of pain over an event that really never should have happened. As far as Brian, the main issue for me was I wanted these members to acknowledge, his death. I never heard a word from Donald Trump. And as I'd said, earlier in other interviews, he never sent a letter, and he still has not to this day. Even though I have come out and said I did support him, he knew even early on that Brian was a huge supporter of his. I mean, it was all over his Twitter page and, other social media outlets. So, he was the president at that time, so I know he cannot claim ignorance that he did not know. And so, that is the thing with me. I accept the medical examiner's, cause of death, but it doesn't sit well with me that something that could have been preventable, someone I loved and cared about very much, had to suffer and to deal with that kind of assault on his last day on Earth. As far as Officer Smith and Officer Liebengood, I feel that everyone who participated in enabling Donald Trump is responsible for their deaths. And I say that with 100% conviction. It's the truth. And the fact that these members of Congress who continue to outright deny what happened that day, the severity of that day, is just absolutely unforgivable. That I really have a lot of anger about that.
I can only imagine. Gladys, let me ask you this. Kevin McCarthy, who you met with on Friday, he was asked about the makeup of the Select Committee to investigate January the 6th. Have a listen to what he was asked.
Will you commit to not putting the members in your conference who are spreading conspiracy theories or trying to minimize what happened on the 6th on that Select Committee?
I was just with the Speaker. She's never talked to me about it. I haven't seen the structure of what she does or anything else, so I won't make any commitment till I go there.
Are you okay, Gladys, with GOP House members like conspiracy theorist Paul Gosar or Andrew Clyde, who suggested the people who attacked your son were just tourists, having a place on that committee?
No, absolutely not. None of them should be on the committee. It should be people with more backbone and knowing exactly what happened they know what happened. And I think Senator McCarthy knew what happened too. And then I just don't like the fact that he talked to Donald Trump about what was going on that day, and he did not. Donald Trump did not stop the insurrection. He could have stopped it. I don't believe that it had to go through all kinds of go through the Pentagon and here and there. He was the person who could have stopped that whole thing right from the get-go, and he did not.
No, he didn't. He didn't indeed. Sandra, one last question to you. 30 seconds left. I have to ask. You've talked about secondary wounding, the pain that people feel when they lose someone and then have that death downplayed, dismissed, as it has been, Brian Sicknick's death, by the GOP. What has that been like for you, especially a party that claims to support the police?
Yeah, it's devastating. It's outright, like Officer Fanone said, lies. They know the truth. They're lying about this, and some of them may have been lucky in the sense that when they said I didn't feel threatened, well, that was due to the bravery of the officers that day who fought brutally. And I think one of them had said, we fought too good that day. I thought that was such a poignant, powerful statement. Things could have gone much differently. It's very upsetting. And I just want to say one last thing. The individual who planted those pipe bombs still has not been found. And I think this political game that they're playing is incredibly dangerous. I mean, it's like they're just setting the stage for another serious attack to happen and people to die. So they need to knock it off and get serious about this. Yes.
It is very dangerous. I'm glad you made that point, and I'm glad you're both keeping up this campaign. I appreciate so much, Gladys, Sandra, both of you taking time out. And again, I'm so sorry for your loss.